Ladybug has a cast of colorful characters. Literally. All of them have different color schemes. Perfect for Pride Month. Out of all the characters the show has to offer, the character I've seen the most varying opinions about is, ironically enough, the show's main protagonist, Marinette Dupain Cheng, aka Ladybug. For those of you who have never seen Miraculous, the show revolves around a middle school girl named Marinette who lives a double life as Paris' superhero, Ladybug. She wields the Ladybug Miraculous, which are magic earrings that house a magical creature that give her the powers of creation. And a super sick yo-yo. She works together with her partner Cat Noir to stop Hawkmoth by purifying the Akumas he uses to wreak havoc on Paris. I'm a newer person on the Miraculous hype train. I actually started the series in September 2023 when I was going through a bad depressive episode and ended up binging the entire series in 5 days. Yes, I know I have no self-control. And despite some of the flaws the series has, I really enjoy the show, and I still go back to it sometimes when I'm doing homework as background noise. I actually wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about the series at first, especially Marinette. The first couple episodes portray her as an extremely clumsy and love-struck character. In fact, I was watching the first episode, Stormy Weather, with my friend Geist, and I said to him, "How the frickle-frackle are these two the Guardians of Paris?" They were struggling at every turn during that first episode. But as the season progressed, I got to see the positives to her character. How she always tries to help people. How she stands up to the generic mean girl in Chloe. How she learns to overcome her confidence issues to become Paris' superhero. And how smart, resourceful, and creative she is. She has so many positives to her character that I think get overlooked due to the fandom's opinion of her. Is Marinette a Mary Sue? That's a loaded question. I think she has some aspects of a Mary Sue character, and the writing constantly pushing her to the forefront over other characters like Adrian may not help that fact, but I don't think she's a complete Mary Sue. Marinette makes mistakes. She's human. She's a normal girl with a normal life. While living in Paris' most famous bakery, fashion designer prodigy, graphic designer for famous artists, in the same class as a famous model and the mayor's super rich daughter, a champion gamer, and part-time vigilante as Paris' superhero. As a former teenage girl, I can confirm that's what most of our lives are like. Look, I'm just a random girl on the internet who likes penguins. But with the sea of negativity I see on Marinette, especially when I look up Marinette character analysis on YouTube and see a flood of Marinette's worst main character
She's a problematic character.
Hi! I've decided to toss my hat into the ring and talk about my favorite aspects of her character. Now, I'm not denying Marinette has issues. Yes, she's a stalker to the point it's weird. Yes, her character tends to get pushed over other characters. Looking at you, season 5 finale, Adrian should have been there. But I feel this is more of a writing issue than a character issue. The stalker thing feels like an over-exaggeration of what it's like to have a crush, and is the result of grown men not knowing how to properly write a teenage girl character. And while the episode Derision explains why she does this, it's not an excuse. But rather than complaining about the writing or Marinette's more negative traits, let's talk about the positive traits and the fun parts to her character. Now, I think the episode that really drew me to Marinette and made me like her the most was the season 1 episode Darkblade. In that episode, the class president elections are happening in her class, and Marinette is hesitant to run due to her duties as Ladybug. But due to no one else running against the mean Barbie girl named Chloe Bourgeois, Marinette decides to go for it, and over the course of the episode not only proves her capabilities as a class president, but learns to balance it with her duties as Ladybug. I especially love the speech she gave at the very end. I'm not gonna play it due to copyright, but basically she tells everyone that she doesn't want to be voted for because they don't want to vote for Chloe, but rather because they believe in her. She goes on to state her positive aspects and makes sure to let everyone know that she truly believes in representing them. It's a very good speech that brings out the best in her. Marinette is always trying to help those around her, and not just as Ladybug. She helps Julika overcome her class photo curse, she encourages Kim to confess his feelings when he's unsure, gives up her chance to play in the video game championship with Adrian, aka her crush, so that Max could play, tried to keep Milan in her main character role in their student film, and paired Mark and Nathaniel up to write a comic together. And that's just everything I can think of off the top of my head. Miss Boustier's class seriously becomes such a tight-knit group that always has each other's back over the course of the series, and I believe a large part of that is because of Marinette. Seriously, by season 5, literally everyone in the class, minus Sabrina, Chloe, and Lila, are trying to help her by getting her and Adrian together. Marinette also has very real struggles. She struggles at finding love, and while her struggles are usually goofy, played for gags, and sometimes, like during the Kwame's Choice episodes, a bit sad, that is relatable. She also cracks under pressure pretty easily and doesn't deal with her problems well when isolated. You can see that at the beginning of season 4 when she becomes Guardian. Not only does she break up with Luca because of it, she also tries to end all of her friendships with her friends just because of how complicated her life has become. I cried during those episodes because I felt so bad for Marinette. But I'm also an emotional baby who cried at the freaking Sonic movie because he had Make a Real Friend on his bucket list, so take that with a grain of salt. Marinette also doesn't cope very well with trauma. Her weird antics around Adrien and not being able to talk to him for 5 seasons, it all stemmed from repressed trauma about a cruel prank that was played on her by Kim and Chloe. And even after she realized that, she wasn't immediately able to overcome it. It took several episodes of her working out her issues just to be able to tell Adrien she loved him. There's also the infamous Cat Blanc episode, where she got to see the result of her and Cat Noir falling in love without knowing the circumstances of what led up to it, and got to see her dead, decayed corpse. You know, for kids. Yeah, that's the underlying reason she pushed Cat Noir away in season 4. And it took until she lost everything for her to realize how terribly she handled things. My last point I want to bring up is about Marinette's creativity. When using her lucky charm, she has to think of a plan on the fly and figure out how to stop the villain of the week with the most obscure items. I actually used to think her powers showed her the path forward, hence the black and white scenes with the Ladybug patterns. But nope, it was just the show's way of showing the viewer how Marinette figures out her plans. But seriously, the creativity, ingenuity, and resourcefulness Marinette displays every episode is incredible. And I don't even know how she thinks of some of her more obscure plans, because I can barely come up with a creative response for an insult until like 2 years later. Marinette is such a fun character to me, and she is my favorite character in this show. Is she flawed? Yes, but who isn't? You can't tell me you were the pinnacle of perfection in middle school. And if you can, you're lying to yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this frolic through a Ladybug-filled flower field of positivity on a constantly crapped-on character. And let me know what you think of Marinette in the comment section below. This is Queen of Penguins saying peace out and happy Pride Month!